lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. I am so honored to be here today with you all. Hadn't been feeling my best over the last week or so here, so I'm honored to be here today, even just virtually. And definitely keep me in your prayers with a quick word of prayer. Just said, God, please completely strengthen and heal her body, right? Okay. So listen, grab your virtual seats, everyone, and know that today is Freestyle Friday. And so we have what? We have some of our experts that's in the house, none other than one that we can already see, which is Phil Walters-Cooke. How are you, Mr. Phil?
I'm doing great. And I already prayed. You are on the mend. You're going to be 100 before the weekend's out.
All right. I feel that thing over here. I feel the prayers. Yes. And so we also have with us today our sunshine expert backstage. And let me know when you want to pull you in. I can pull you in, thumbs up. All right, let me pull in our sunshine expert. And that's Athena Robertson. How are you today?
I am doing fabulous for this Freestyle Friday.
And I see you in your car. You normally in your office, you're situated, but you're on the go today, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for still making it happen to be here. I greatly appreciate it.
Amen.
And we also have also with us Daron, who is the timeless Thomas Swann here as well. So he'll be popping in, and I'm super excited about him joining us. Also, listen, share the broadcast. Let everybody know that we're on today. We're going to kick things off right away by just inviting in our first expert, who is a nurse by day, but she at night talks about, and throughout the rest of the 24 hours, she talks about how important it is to reinvent yourself as an actual person that maybe gone through a divorce and you're trying to figure out, how do you reinvent yourself? How do you reestablish things in life? So I am going to play a clip from her, Ernetta Caldwell, ernetacaldwell.com, and let's hear more from her now.
Hello,
thank you, Ernetta.
Everyone. Thank you so much, Kim Jacobs, for this opportunity to be on Freestyle Friday. Well, I'm Ernetta Caldwell, and I wanted to stop by today to ask you all a question. Have you lost faith in your goals, dreams, and the desires that you have within you? Do you feel like you have been derailed from your purpose and you really don't know who you are? Or you don't even know the power that you have within you? Well, I wanted to stop by today to share a little story with you all when there was a time when I felt the exact same way. When I was going through a devastation of a divorce, I lost my self-identity. I felt like I did not want to move forward. It really felt like life had stopped and there was nothing else for me to do. It felt like I was just existing until God said, you know what? You need to walk by faith. Faith, y'all, faith. You need to walk by faith and believe in me. You need to walk by faith to know that there is more to life and I have a purpose and a plan for you. So it took for me each and every day to get connected with God, having a mandatory meeting with God to say, God, I need you. God, I don't know the plans that you have for me, but Lord, I know as long as I stay connected to you, that you would give me clarity on my purpose. You would give me clarity on guidance to where you're bringing me step by step. So I wanted to drop this into all of you. It's time for you to move forward and take that faith-filled action steps. God has so much in store for you. Maybe you didn't go through a divorce, but maybe you're going through some type of life transition. Maybe you are hurting right now. Right now, we are going through the holiday season. Maybe you don't have that support that you need. But let me tell you something. God said that he will never leave you nor forsake you. And as long as you are breathing, as long as you have breath in your body, God has a purpose for you. God has a plan for you. So I want you to tune into this right now to understand and hear my voice. That you are listening to this. God has designed this, and he had strategically placed you on the other side of this video. So it's time for you to believe in you. It's time for you to know the power that you have within you. But it's time for you to increase your faith and to trust God and to know that he has the plan and he has the final say in your life. Because let me tell you, God has turned my pain into beauty. He has turned my sadness into my strength. And he has turned my dark places into my destiny. And now I am living out my dreams, walking in my purpose to reach back and encourage other women. If God has done it for me, he can do it for you. So I want you today to understand this and hear this and know that you, yes, you, there's something God is calling you to do. Get silent before God. Ask him, God, what is it that you have for me? But listen to me. Take those faith-filled action steps to move forward. Because I am the creator of the faith-filled action steps to living out your dreams, to move you forward, to get you unstuck. Yes, y'all, it's time to get unstuck. We are getting ready to move forward into a new year. We are going into 2022. So you cannot walk into the new year with an old you. It's time for you to get focused. It's time for you to leave the old baggage behind you. It's time for you to know your worth, your value, and it's time for you to activate those dreams within to live them out. Again, I am Ernetta Caldwell, and I thank you for this opportunity. You can stay in touch with me on my website at www.ernettacaldwell.com, as well as follow me on all social media platforms at Ernetta Caldwell. Thank you all, and I love you all. Have a blessed day. Bye.
Yes. You know what? Ernetta sent me this, and she did tell me to let you all know that that was a older video that she had prepared for us before in the holiday season of 2022. And so I want
Uh-oh.
the information is relevant now. So just make sure we know that the information is always relevant, no matter what year it is. So thank you so much, Ernetta Caldwell. And then also another thing I wanted to share that Ernetta has on her website that I think is helpful for everyone is these prayer affirmation cards. So make sure if you're struggling, you're trying to deal with some things in your life and you need to have some affirmations just to confirm some things that's going on in your life, make sure that you look at this and go to ernettacaldwell.com and get your free gifted version of the affirmation cards. It does not hurt to have these just in your pocket or your purse or somewhere to keep just a thought of what's going on. You are enough. You are confident. And there are other scriptures and things that she has as well. So thank you so much, Ernetta Caldwell. Greatly appreciate you as one of our Freestyle Friday experts. All right. Any thoughts on what just happened there, talking about the importance of freeing ourselves up, having faith, understanding that we do need to affirm ourselves? Anybody on the panel want to talk to that at all? Or in the studio audience?
Yeah, I'd like to weigh in on that.
Please.
You know, the Bible teaches us without faith, it's impossible to please God. And we have to, especially in these days, exercise our faith. We exercise our bodies. Hopefully we're doing that. Stay in reasonable shape. We need to also, the word practice. We need to practice our faith. We need to apply it daily. You know, doctors practice medicine, lawyers practice law. We need to practice to the best of our ability till it becomes as close to perfection as possible, because through difficult times, whether it be, you know, a broken marriage that leads to divorce, or losing that job you thought you was going to retire and get that fat gold watch from,
Right.
you know, or housing bubble crashes, whatever. Life is going to throw you some fiery darts from time to time. But through God, he will give us the shield because he's our shield and our buckler to be able to fight off the fiery darts that will come at us in life. Amen.
Amen. I agree with you. Thank you for those comments. Anybody else want to weigh in? Feel free. Unmute yourself. And today we have our Freestyle Friday experts that come on, and different ones come on different Fridays. But today we have Phil Walters-Cooke, who's going to be sharing his story and some tips. We also have Daron Timeless Thomas Swann here with us, and he's got some powerful information to share with you today. And we have our sunshine expert, Athena Robertson, and she always brings joy to the whole platform. So we're so happy. We also had Ernetta Caldwell, which is what we're chiming on now, which is about faith, activating it, reinventing. Anybody else?
Yeah, Kim, I'll chime in. I'm Daron Thomas Swann. I'm happy to be here. Hello to your beautiful studio audience, even the ones I can't see virtually, and all the guests. Welcome everybody. Faith-filled action steps is a word that stuck out with me as Ernetta spoke about the importance of taking those faith-filled action steps. So, so first, my thing is distractions. We're really distracted a lot of times. We can't even hear God, with all the distractions that just one day bring to us as people. The only time we really listen, a lot of times it's involuntarily. When the sun goes up or the sun goes down, we know that's God then, or when we have to use the bathroom. Doesn't matter what we have on or where we're at. It's time. That's nature. That's God. I have to deal with it. It doesn't come with an outfit, right, a religion, or a creed. And that's when we start listening to God. And so I like what she said. We have to take those faith-filled action steps. Faith without works, as Brother Phil said, is null and void. So we have to do the works, but we have to also listen first so we can hear what is our work to do. We don't want to be distracted and start doing the wrong work, and it doesn't complement our destiny.
I love that. Yeah, great insight to that. And anything you want to say, Sunshine Expert, before we move forward?
I was gonna chime in and say a lot of times when we are dealing with distractions, when things happen in life, it's not so much of what happens, it's about how we're going to deal with it. And so how we react to it, if we're trusting God and we're walking by faith, well, we know that God is in control. We know that he's not going to put more on us than we could bear. So therefore, when things happen, why sometimes we fall out as if like the world is about to end and we forget that, you can turn to God and say, God, I need your help. I need your guidance. I stand on your word. You told me that, you would never leave me, never forsake me. So if we believe that and we trust in God, then that's what we should stand on his word. And when things happen, we should say, okay, God, not that why this is happening, which is not, it's okay to ask God why, but it should be, how do you want me to handle this? What is my next step, God? And, and be ready to listen and, be open to listen. We always asking God for things, but are we really ready for it? So that's what I was just going to chime in and say.
That's good. That's good. And I agree with everything that's been said, because I was looking back at the scripture of faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so we have to almost have what I would consider that blind faith, that we trust and believe that if God said it's going to happen, no matter how you slice it, it's going to happen. It may not happen at the time that we thought it would happen or the way that we thought it would happen. So it may come in a whole different packaging than what we originally thought was going to be the case. But it's just a deep understanding of knowing that if I trust in this particular source, then, and I've already been confirmed that this is going to happen in my life, how it happens, like Les Brown often says, is not my business. God, that's up to you, and you're going to make it happen because you're the one that said it was going to happen. So I trust wholeheartedly and lean into your understanding, not my own, under any way, shape, or form. So that's just very important that we recognize that some things are not right at that moment, that we can see them, but that doesn't mean they're not going to happen in your life. They will still happen. in God's timing for you. So just keep that in mind. I love everything you shared, Ernetta. So thank you so much. You shaking that head, Daron, over there?
Well, yeah, because you're exactly right. It's in God's timing, and sometimes, a lot of times, you know, my thing. I'm really serious about distractions. A lot of times, we want to put a description on a blessing. You know, we think it should look a certain kind of way, and sometimes we miss it. Like out of the living creatures that coexist on the earth, humans are the only ones that are distracted. A tree will always grow as tall as it can. A fish will never act like a bear. A peach tree will always grow peaches. It won't switch up and get distracted and start growing apples. Humans get distracted. Yeah. We always go against. So that's why I said it's very important that we try to listen to God. We have to listen to what God had for us to do. And then we have to be intentional about our faith and about our faith based plans and about our prayers. Even we have to be intentional. We have to first say, God, please undistract me. I've been distracted for many years, and I'm aware of it for generations, for curseful generations. Please undistract me so that I can go to my future and do your will.
Well, on that note, when we come back, we're going to hear from Daron Timeless Thomas. Okay. And so we're going to get to hear some points from you. And already he's been dropping points the whole time, just so if y'all didn't pick up on that. But we're gonna do that right after this commercial break. We'll be right back, everyone.
My father had 4 of his fingers amputated in a workplace accident. It was the first injured individual I represented, and I knew I had to win that case. When someone walks into my office and they've been injured, I know what they're going through. If you've been injured at work with Hunter and Everett. We've got the experience, so let us help you.
All right, everyone, we are back and we are talking with our Freestyle Friday experts today, as well as you in the studio audience. Pop some comments, questions, anything you have that's on your heart that matters to you. Put it in the comments section and we will definitely do everything we can to address it throughout this hour. Listen, today's episode is sponsored by Attorney Charles Everett with Hunter Everett Law Firm. If you're dealing with disability or you're dealing with a workers' compensation issue, or you've even been denied disability and you still need to go back and file a new claim, wrongful death of a loved one, give them a call. They're in the Carolinas area, the Alabama area, the Richmond, Virginia area, 704-457-5000. Again, that's 704-457-5000. Let them know the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. All right, talk to us, Daron. How are you today?
I'm so great, KJ. So again, I would like to talk about distractions and duality. As above, so below. And you know, always, talk polarity. Without the positive and the negative charges, we can't even start the battery. So they both must coexist. Without darkness, we don't know light. So knowing that we're distracted, and if you don't know, then it's time to do a time management inventory chart so that you can see it for yourself. It's just like any other business plan. Now, big major bosses, entrepreneurs, corporations, companies, foundations, people know how to buy their time back. People know that, okay, look, this is the way we're setting up the system. We'll train these people to do this work. And then the boss can go golf and everything can run and flow smooth. He has his time back. That's right. But he earned it. He put people in a position to get things done the way he would like them. It's an old adage that says if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Or you can just train people to do it yourself and then get it done and you can have all your 24 hours. So we must find out, what are we doing with our 24 hours? And then we have to say, is 24 hours even real? You know what I mean? Because the only time is really sun up to sundown. Everything else is gauged for a reason. Or measured for a reason. So we want to please God. At some point, we want to grow. At some point, we don't want to be, which is technically insanity. If we're doing what we always did and we're getting what we always got, we're not seeing growth, we're not seeing results, and people are relying on us for leadership. If we're still intentionally, if we're still consciously telling our babies coming behind us that there's a tooth fairy going to come through the window and drop something under the pillow, that's a serious thing, because we're intentionally being dishonest and being deceptive. So now we're tricking ourselves into believing something that's wrong. Okay, fast forward to today, because I'm gonna allow questions or thoughts. I'm just trying to provoke thoughts. In today's world, we're in the I'm in the now. I'm in the now.
Yeah.
Where we're at now. Okay, it's Halloween is coming up. Okay, and we have a culture. We have a situation where those of us who are good parents, even though parenting doesn't come with a manual, but those of us who were raised right and we're passing the right jewels to our children, we always in the old world order, we always told our babies to never ever talk to strangers ever.
Right.
But in the climate of the world today, we now push them towards strangers. We don't ever meet anybody and date them on the computer. Always have a friend or listen, but now we're pushing them towards that. You call the Uber from the computer, they're jumping in a car with a stranger, and we're co-signing it. We're forgetting safety. We just said, girl, get an Uber. I can't pick you up at my work. But we forgot to tell them, look, but when you do get in that Uber,
oh my God,
when you do get in this stranger's vehicle, make sure, why don't you just do a quick 5-second safety lock check? Make sure that child lock ain't on. Make sure you can get back out. We got to get back in front of what's going on right now. So I say all that to say, with Halloween coming, right? With Halloween coming, right, Kim? We're again especially post-COVID. I mean, everybody's allowed to wear these masks. We're about to allow, right, our children to knock on the doors of strangers who could even potentially have a mask on. These people might not even be able to be identified. So we got to get in front of everything. We're distracted. So what are we doing with our time? Are we doing too much overtime? Do we have too many extra habits, or are we pouring into the babies that's coming behind us that's going to not just lead the future, but carry on our legacy? I'm going to stop because I'm going all over the place.
Okay.
I just wanted to share that.
Let me. Okay. I have to chime in from a show perspective for a minute, because the only way I can do that is to provide fair balance here, to say that, and Mackenzie, you can go ahead and pop she's backstage. Everybody, Mackenzie's back. Yay. Okay. So pop on the camera.
Is this disclaimer time?
Yeah, it's a disclaimer time. I have to, because legally I have to do that.
You do. And I should have said it too.
And look, Sunshine Expert, she done seen the disclaimer. She's like, there we go, the disclaimer coming. So the views expressed by any of the guests that appear on the Kim Jacobs Show are their own personal individual opinions. And so obviously you all can chime in on any of your opinions as well. And we pop those on the screen too. And that's because everybody has freedom of right to speak and say the things that we may feel. So I can speak personally for Kim, and I do share my opinion all the time on my own show, but the show itself does not always reflect that of my own individual opinions or thoughts. And so I just want to make sure you know that, especially since I also represent other entities like CTR Media Network and Believe in Your Dreams and even Lit TV. So some things that's going on behind the scenes, I have to put those disclaimers out there. Let's talk about it though, y'all. Let's talk about it. With some of the things happening, are we really promoting sharing things to our children that are stranger danger? I totally agree. My daughter, when she goes in the hospital, sometimes she has to stay there for like 10 days. And I check in with her, Daron. I'm in the hospital with her, but then I'll need to go grab something to eat or whatever it is. And she's in the room by herself, or she's sleeping. A nurse comes in that's a male nurse. And she's waking up to this man that's now doing blood pressure stuff and doing shots. She don't know him at all. She does not know him. So I agree that stranger danger is real, no matter what age our children are. But y'all, share your thoughts in the studio audience and on the panel. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I would like to share on that. Absolutely, he's absolutely correct. Where is the signpost anymore? I remember when I was little, my mom was very firm about instilling in us, not to talk to strangers, this, that, and the other. But I remember as I got older, I would see reports on TV about, caricatures about what monsters look like, and who the boogeyman was, and all of this. Everybody thought Jeffrey Dahmer was a nice guy until they checked the freezer. You know what I'm saying? So you have to educate your kids to protect themselves, and then we also, as adults, I mean, there's an incident in New York that happened recently. Guy walked up to a couple on the bus stop, and stabbed the guy to death. It's a different world. Natural affection. There's no natural affection. And the enemy's running rampant because he knows his time is short. So we have to do our part to protect ourselves and our family. And God has given us everything that we need to do that in his word. There's no time, date stamp on the wisdom of God. It's for yesterday, today, and for tomorrow. We have to apply it. And you're right. These share ride services, they have their place. I mean, I even use them from time to time. If I got a performance and somebody calls me last minute and I can't schedule my day in advance through the local city services, I jump in Uber. But I'm also mindful where I am. And like you said, if that child lock is locked and I can't get out, I'm sitting in that back seat already figuring out my angle and everything else. And I'm physically blind. So, and listen, God has given us all discernment, right? We have to use it. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a duck.
So just trust your instincts. If God says stay home, stay home. If he says, nah, don't go with that person, don't go.
Interesting. Okay, that's good. Good comments. That's why y'all are the Freestyle Friday experts. Okay, Sunshine expert, you want to chime in, and then I'm gonna go to the studio audience comments, Mackenzie. So right after Sunshine expert, let's start popping some of those comments in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do agree with Daron that we have to be very mindful. Yes, when we were growing up, we were taught not to speak to strangers. Even so, in a sense, now today, when you see little kids, you still see that on their face expression when someone speaks to them. You might see a cute baby in the store and you might give a compliment, and that baby looking at you like, I don't know that lady. Who's she talking to? Or they're looking at their parent, trying to acknowledge, should they say hi, should they smile? So we have to be very careful. We have to teach our kids. I would definitely say, you know speaking of, when I interact with students don't when students are new to the college, they don't know me from Adam of Eve. So therefore, building that relationship, that I'm here to serve a purpose. I'm here to guide you on your journey as far as you getting set up for your classes. That's very important, how we conduct ourselves, how we, come across to the person, that, hey, I'm coming to in a peaceable, respectful. And first, for me, when I'm always introducing myself to people, I just want to make sure I'm being respectful. I want to make sure that my light is shining, that they know I come in no harm, I come in peace. Sometimes I DoorDash. That's another thing. You coming up to people's houses and you don't know who houses you come into delivering food. So, I'm always in prayer, like, only God, God guard me and guard my heart, but also guard the person that I'm serving, and making sure that, I'm delivering the food and I'm making moves to get back in my car safely, and I have good experiences, good pleasant experiences with customers all the time, even my notary clients. Again, that's another, you're meeting strangers, but where I'm conducting business, but also I'm conducting business, but I don't know this person. So, when people call, you meet them at their house, you meet them in a public place. So we got to be careful. I agree with him wholeheartedly. We got to teach our children, yes, they put these things in place, these ride shares in place to help if parents can't be there. Now it's a thing, turn your location on your phone. Some kids are so smart. Sometimes they try to be sneaky.
Too smart for our own good, right? Because she froze, but she said something.
So you just have to be careful.
I'm sorry, you froze for a minute, so that's why I started talking. But say it again. Say it one more time at the end.
You hear me?
I can hear you now. Say it one more time. What you said at the very end. You said kids try to be sneaky, and then it went off for a minute.
Okay.
Hello. Are we back?
All right. I think the gist of what Sunshine expert was saying is that she said kids were being sneaky, but you don't want to be sneaky in that case. You want to kind of make sure you turn your location off and on and make sure people can access you, because it's no time for games when you're trying to be hiding out and all of that. So I love the point she was making right before she froze. All right, so let's go to some of the studio audience comments, Mackenzie, if you will, pop those in for me backstage. And you can address any other. Girl, I don't trust nobody with my kids, is what Mackenzie says. She's like, no. Okay, next comment. At all. That's what she said. What do you want to say about that? Is that what you think should happen, Daron, or no? Don't go to that extreme, or what's your thoughts?
Rephrase the question. You don't trust nobody with your kids at all. Is that what you just said?
But trust like 5 people. 5 people.
Yeah, but that I mean, just to do a disclaimer, this is my own thoughts and opinions. It doesn't reflect my sponsors either or yours. Right. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. The world is filled with people, and we're gonna coexist with them, period. Right. And so here's my thing too. So parenting, like when we were growing up, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm just gonna assume that we were kind of somewhat whatever. Our parents knew more than we knew. That's right. How we got caught with our hand in the cookie jar. They were ahead of us. Mm-hmm. The world has changed. Our children are ahead of us. They're learning. Some of them don't even want to go to college. They're going to YouTube University. They're fast. Things are happening. The attention span is quick. As soon as we give them a jewel, they done went on their little device on their social media. And then before you know it, they saw 2 fights and a police killing. They're not even paying attention to the jewel that we gave them now. Now, as parents, do we charge that to the game, man? These kids, they just won't listen. I don't know what's going on. It's still our responsibility. We have a full-time job at being responsible for that which relies on us for leadership. We have a full-time job. So that means we have growing to do. You got to be intentional about learning more. A lot of times we get to a certain degree or a certain certificate or a certain title, and we think we're accomplished. Right. No, you have to be accomplished in the new millennium. You have to be digitally accomplished. You have to revolutionize your accomplishments, because we have to stay in front of our children. And then if we're not going to be in front of them and the others that rely on us for leadership, we at least have to parallel. And if we're not parallel, then we have to be humble enough to say, hey, you know what? The student becomes the teacher. Why don't you get up here and share what you know, so I can be humble and learn? Because if your learning elevator stops here, life is over for you. We're supposed to seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. Where's that written?
That's good. This is good. So Mackenzie said, people like kids. I'm not doing it. I'm not risking it. Heck no. Why you think I'm having no career until they are in school, period. And you know what? And then again, this is Mackenzie's thought process as to how she's going to handle her children, because there's no manual on what works. What works for you may not work for somebody else. It may be disastrous in a whole different household. So keep that in mind. I share those kind of tips in a book that I have called Extreme Balance Makeover. And it's something that I did on NBC. I had a whole bunch of tips that I would share weekly, and I would go out and do balance makeovers for families. So if you can take the comment down, Mackenzie, if you all are interested in getting one of these books, you can go to kimjacobsshow.com, kimjacobsshow.com. And in that Extreme Balance Makeover books, it's resource guide, basically talking about all kinds of tips that will help even in situations like this. So make sure y'all visit kimjacobsshow.com. It's a Shopify store. You can get one of the books. Okay. All right. So listen, this has been it's more comments. Mackenzie, pop them up right quick, because I don't want to miss any. And then we're going to sandwich in our sunshine expert next. So pop the comments in, and let me take this picture down. Let's see. I am a helicopter mom, is what Carlene says. Welcome, Carlene. Glad to have you. She said, I'm a helicopter mom and have no apologies. Educate, educate, educate. So educate, educate, educate. Very good comment. Thank you all. And thank you for all of your comments. Any others, Mackenzie, before we take a commercial break? All right. Teach kids about their gut feelings as well. I think that we all have that intuition, and we need to utilize it. And don't disregard what your children are telling you. If they're telling you that they're uncomfortable, it may be something that they see that you don't see. So we have to be mindful of that. And then on top of that, forget stranger danger. What about family danger? What about in-person danger of people that we are literally voluntarily leaving our children with? There are lots of other kind of dangers that happen internally, not just from the external perspective. So let's keep all of that in mind. Okay. So, Daron, tell everybody how they can stay connected with you, please.
Well, you can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook at Daron Timeless Thomas Swann. You can also follow me on YouTube, Timeless Thomas, Instagram, Timeless Thomas. And a quick shout out while I'm saying that, I just would like my audience to get your book too. So make sure you put that link back up there for my audience, for the people way in the back. I want to support you in that way as well. We need those tips. We need those tips from the balance doctor, because you're right, balance. We have to have them.
I'm actually writing another level of a book that is a different spiritual
a book. We need that.
So that's coming out soon. But okay, tell also Athena, our sunshine expert, let everybody know how they can stay connected with you, please.
You can stay connected with me on Facebook at Athena Robertson, on LinkedIn at Athena Robertson, on IG at 7 Red Honey. That's REDHONII, the number 7 on IG. As well as, I am your Express Notary Public here, mobile in the Mecklenburg, Charlotte area as well.
Excellent. I know we're going to hear from you, but I wanted to make sure that they know how to stay connected with you in advance. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back right after this break and hear from Athena Robertson, our sunshine expert. All right. Still be playing. I love it. I love it, Phil. Thank you for playing us out. I appreciate it. Listen, today's episode is sponsored by vproducts.store. Again, vproducts.store. They have mushroom infused coffee that everyone's been raving about. So whatever's going on in that coffee, people love it. And then they also have some great black coffee as well. But vproducts.store. Let them know the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. All right, talk to us, sunshine expert. What do you have for us today over in that car?
Hi, and thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties over here while on the go. I'll come in to bring you all about, which touch bases about what everybody else has already been talking about, what Daron's been talking about, Mr. Phil, and even what my sister, Ernetta Caldwell, when she got up and she was speaking about our faith. I come to talk about, how is your attitude? How do you present yourself when you wake up? How do you present yourself when you start your day? How do you present yourself when situations, as Daron was talking about distractions, how do we present ourselves when these things come up? Is your attitude in a positive place where you have clarity, whether you're able to think, whether you're able to react in a positive way, even in a negative situations? Let's be honest, we need the negative situations as well, because that's our growth. How are we going to be able to handle things if it's always positive? That's good, that's great. But you need the negative to balance you out. You need that so you know how to be strengthened in the areas where you may be vulnerable, you may be weak. So I came to you as I was sitting here and I was thinking, and I've been thinking about the topic since last night, but I was like, what can I say to the audience today, that's relevant right now? And most of it has to deal with, how are we conducting ourselves when we come against life situations, whether they are tragedies, whether it's trauma, whether it is grief, whether even a situation where you have to be the bigger person and make the first move to make it correct. It's okay to say, hey, I'm not okay, but I choose to handle it in this way. And again, I was saying it previously, is that a lot of times God is waiting to see how are we going to react to these situations. How are we going to be focused enough to say, hey, God, I'm listening to you. I see all the distractions going on. I see where the enemy is trying to intervene, but I'm going to stay focused and I'm going to make a positive effort to make sure that I'm walking into this situation the right way and not be distracted to where you're discombobulated and you'll miss the mark and nothing will get solved. So sometimes we just have to take a step back and we have to readjust our attitude. We have to refresh our mindset, and we just have to get a little bit more focused in order to move forward. That's what the Sunshine Expert wanted to say to you all today. Thank you, Kim. Always an honor and a pleasure to come on Freestyle Friday and share some nuggets. And I just try to always come from my perspective, because first it starts with me, right? Before I can share with you and I can teach you something or I can advise you to do something, I have to be the one to take the advice first. So thank you all for listening.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, because it's such powerful information and inspiring information. Anybody in the studio audience, if you have questions or comments pertaining to what our Sunshine Expert just shared, please go ahead and start popping them in. And on our panel, unmute yourself. Share any thoughts that you just had regarding what Athena Robertson shared.
Well, I see why you call her the Sunshine Expert. That was a ray of light. But you're right. You're absolutely accurate. I just want to add to it that it's really, you can't always control what happens, but we must control, how we respond. Because remember, we're the alchemists. We can either react or respond, and we have to know the difference, right, KJ?
Absolutely, you 100% have to know the difference.
Yeah. So we're in charge of knowing that. It's like at the age we are, sometimes you can use other comparisons. Think of it like a car. I'm 52, look 42, but I'm 52. But imagine if I was a car at 52, my check engine light has come on, at some point. And if it was a vehicle and you planned on keeping it and taking it to your future, you would get it well maintained. You would get it maintenance. You would get it fixed. And so we have to ask ourselves, as we take our time inventory and our self inventory and our priority inventory, we have to ask ourselves, when is the last time I learned anything new? Have I been to a training or workshop? Have I listened in on a listening session? Like, when is the last time I actually grew? So, because again, at this age that we are, people are relying on us for leadership. If nothing else, just to be outstanding citizens. And people are looking when we're not looking, when we don't know they're looking, we're just shopping. But by us having a particular calling from God, by us being the chosen ones, by there being an ordinance placed on thrust upon our lives, people are watching, people are remembering and looking. And we want to make sure that we're leading them in the right direction, even when we're not paying attention. We just want to be at our best. We want to pass inspection. We don't want our check engine light on. No. And so, just to say, spin off of what Sister Sunshine Expert was saying, we have to respond and react, but we can't control what happens, but we have to control. We have to be in full control. We have to be intentional control of how we deal with what happens when the ball gets in our court. We're in charge of that.
Great comments that you all are making. Any coming from the studio audience as well, Mackenzie? I'll pop those in right quick if we do have a few, and make sure we get a chance to address them. These are great. And Phil, if you want to chime in as well, feel free.
A thought popped in my head. Great comments. Great job, Sunshine. Great job, and the responses were great. But the thought that popped in my head was, while we are attending Earth class, what are we going to do with our free will? Let those that have ears, let them hear.
Yes.
Because to get from here to the next spot, we got to graduate from here.
I agree. I agree. This is not our final destination. So at the end of the day, when we're thinking forward about what the future holds, then I know for me, I want and will go and have to be in heaven to reunite with my son. So that's a given for me. And so everything that I'm doing on this earth lends to that as, like you say, ultimately my graduation. So that's my philosophy in life. Somebody said, Mackenzie said, my husband provides and I raise the babies. Okay, great job, Mackenzie and Trent over there. Y'all have a plan that's working for you. Any other comments? Ernetta, I see her saying we have to surrender. Pop that. I can't see it unless you pop it up for me. We have to surrender control to God and trust that he has a plan. I see that comment over from our Freestyle Friday expert, Ernetta Caldwell. Trusting and surrendering to God and knowing that he has a plan. Yes. And that's a great comment over there too. Let's see. Any others that I don't want to miss anything. So this is some great stuff. Most time, Carlene says, most time the danger is right in your household. This is where the education is to help them to be able to discern. Anybody agree with that? I agree with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's where it all starts. I know we have family meetings, Carlene, in our home. So weekly we get together and meet and we talk about some things that I learned from my children, things that they learned from me, things that they don't like and they don't want to have happen. They express that in our meetings. So that's the way that we're able to get better, hopefully, as a family unit, you know? So, all right. So let's go. Let's do this. We're going to hear from Phil Walters-Cooke now. Let's go ahead and take a moment and hear some of your points, Phil. I'm going to put you over here and let's hear from you.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Freestyle Friday. Yeah. Or Friday.
Yeah. Tell them who you are and tell them a little bit about your backstory and any points you want to make too.
Okay. Well, my name is Phil Walters, and there's a hyphen on that Cook. My mother was a Walters. She met my dad somewhere in 62. They did what grown-ups do in 63. I popped out in 64. My dad, the late Sam Cooke, was taken from us at 33 years old. I am one of 10 children. I never got to meet my the firstborn, because she was adopted. That's another story for another show. My grandmother was blind. My mother inherited some of those complications. She had glaucoma. My family had a history of retina detachments. So I lost my right eye at 7 and my left eye at 42. But like I said on this show many a times, it took me losing my sight to gain my vision. And I give God the glory for that. I am a singer, songwriter, producer. It's in the DNA. My mother was a dancer, so I got a little bit of both.
I've never seen you cut the rug over there, Phil.
Right. Y'all got to invite me to one of them Charlotte shindigs that y'all see. I've been out on the side.
Okay.
Right. So you can see me cut the rug.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what I do? I have a production company. It's called Soundcast Productions. This is my temporary studio. This is a 38-foot camper. When I get my intern, he's in school right now. When I get him back, we're gonna try to set things up and give you the tour, maybe one of your shows. It's very interesting. This thing is 11,500 pounds, and I have no clue on how to use half of it. But what I am in right now is a 10 by 13 garage. So you can actually, this whole thing drops down, it turns into a ramp. You can roll your car in here, and then you take a dually or F-350 Ford, and you can pull the whole thing. So it's a camper. I'm actually living in here now and working from here temporarily until God shows me the next step. But I'm having a blast. It's crazy.
Awesome. So what points do you have for us? Or what do you want to do today? Did you want to sing? You want to share tips? Because I see you behind that beautiful piano there. So please feel free to do what you want to do today on the, let me pop up this up.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just pop this up so people know, oh, this right that didn't come across as clearly. But this one I want to pop up, and it's an image of your dad in case some people don't know who Phil Walters-Cooke. This is his dad, legendary singer Sam Cooke, and many of us have learned his music and love his music along the years. And so he's actually going to be doing something soon that's reenacting something to honor his dad as well. So go ahead, Phil, tell us.
Yeah, so in February of 2024, it will be 60 years of the official release of A Change Gonna Come. Okay. Many of you know that that's a civil rights song that he wrote in reflection on what he observed during the time. Living in it as well as observing. He was very active in civil rights. He donated a lot of money to the cause. He was always doing that. He was an entrepreneur. If he could help anybody, he would. And so I will be releasing my version of A Change Gonna Come. I have some friends on this project, so it's not a solo. but I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to release my version of my dad's song, A Change Gonna Come. It's amazing. If you listen to the lyrical content, close your eyes, right? And just reflect on what's going on today. Not a whole lot has changed. We have made some strides, but we have a ways to go. And for us veterans, I'll put it that way, we have to continue to make things better through God for our children and our children's children. Yeah.
That's going to be so, I cannot wait for you to do that reenactment and salute and tribute to your dad. So I'm excited about it. And I've been going on the journey with you already, but when that happens, I'm really thrilled to see the outcome of it. I've seen the studio. You're recording in what studio? Because I know that was a big deal too.
It's called Sheffield Institute for the Recording Arts in Phoenix, Maryland. I think I sent you a shot.
Yes.
And I graduated from there around 99, 2000 with an engineering degree. I've been singing since 9, and I wanted to, in my 30s, I wanted to figure out what goes on behind the microphone. And I wrote a grant proposal and got a grant to go there because I couldn't afford to go there. And I got approved, and it was just such a wonderful experience for me. And I'm an alumni, so I get to go back and record and also work with future producers and engineers, the students. And I just want to say this on a quick sidebar. Let me tell you how awesome Joseph Wooten is. He called in while I was there one day and spoke to the students. And Joseph Wooten got some nuggets of wisdom to drop, right? So,
oh yeah, of course. Yes.
They were so excited, and he was so eloquent and just so loving with the kids. And I was just in awe, just amazing. So shout out to him and his new project with the Wooten brothers. I missed that show in Charlotte, but I'm going to try to catch him in Philly.
He's one of our Freestyle Friday experts as well, and he's usually like the historian that comes on and tells you historical facts, him and his wife. So we salute you to the Wooten family. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So do you want to play a quick clip of anything, and then we're going to go to closing comments and stuff and get us out of here for the weekend?
Last time I was on your show, I did one of my dad's. Today I'm going to do one of mine. It's called "It Will Be All Right." We got to know that, right?
Yes.
It
will be all right.
Who said the road to life would be easy? Seems unforgivable sometimes, but I keep pushing to make it through. When your struggles run deep, minutes can seem like hours. Hours can seem like days when you're trying to find your way. It ain't too hard to get caught up on the dark side. These eyes have seen more than any man's eyes should see, yeah. The scars I carry, Lord, like a river, they run so deep. But I keep holding on. Hold on, y'all. Cause you said in your word, it will be all right. Now you said, Lord, it will be all right. No matter what you're going through. Be all right. Be all right. You told me to go ahead and turn out the lights, close my eyes, and listen tonight.
Wow. It will be all right. How many of us believe that in life it's going to be all right? What a beautiful culmination to every point that was made today here on the Kim Jacobs Show from our Freestyle Friday experts. It will be all right. Can somebody type that in the comment section? It will be all right. Unmute you. Let me unmute you over here, Daron. I know you're like, what in the world? I know you looking at the third eye up there. You like this. I don't know why I'm muted over here. Okay, let's see.
No, I know sometimes, it's important to, So is it my closing comments time, KJ?
Well, I wanted to get any thoughts that you had right quick on what Phil was saying, and you definitely can share your closing comment as well right now.
Well, I see that Phil is also an expert at overcoming adversity and making the most of a situation. I like how he expressed that he has an intern that he's teaching the craft to, and he's living his best life. When you're living the dream, when you're living into your purpose, it just doesn't even feel like work. Is so organic, because music is a ministry all by itself. And then by it being in his DNA, by him genetically being great, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here, because this is my winning season. Yeah. So now I meet, Big Phil. I'm hooked up with KJ. I'm paying attention to who the Lord is aligning with me. I forgot to tell you someplace you can follow me. So I gave you all my social media sites. But anybody out there can also follow me in growth. You can meet me in growth. I'll align with you spiritually, organically. We could just meet in growth. I'm not confined and limited to mortality. Another show, another time.
You are one of our Freestyle Friday experts, so come back and say it.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
All right. So meet him in growth is what he's saying. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to align with you and take some things where you can grow spiritually and physically and mentally. And I do want you to tell them right quick about your book, because that's what brought you on the show initially. Because I think every person should get a copy of this book. And so I'm going to pop that up as well. Let me make sure we get over here and do that. I have the image for you. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. So I'm gonna go really quick. It starts with Black and Nobel in Philadelphia. Initially, it was a black bookstore. It's now on 422 South Street. But they believed in me when I first, put the project together and empowered me and pushed me. And then it fell into the hands of Lloyd Figueroa and DNA Coaching, and Rochester Capital got behind it, and they turned it into an audio book. I partnered with Amazon Prime. You can also get the book there. I always tell people you can get it anywhere. Jazzy Kitty Publications, they published it. And then it fell into in my winning season, it fell into the hands of OP Productions and Walt's Chicken, and OP has me on tour and traveling and doing things. And then I have to shout out also my little brother Hanif Salam. He's an activist, a social justice activist in Wilmington, Delaware, and he also has a book out. Me and him do book signings together. So my city is behind me too. My city of Wilmington, Delaware. I have to shout them out. They're behind me, and all of the leadership here, grassroots, politics, religious leaders. Everybody knows that this is a movement, and I'm going to be sending out. So nobody's off the hook. I'm going to be sending out sponsorship letters so that you guys can purchase some of these books for the youth and for events that we do. But that's another story too. But I'm just planting the seed because I'm expecting a harvest, like God said that he would do.
Good.
Like God said that he would do. Can I do my final disclaimer on my discount? Can I do my disclaimer?
Absolutely. And then we're going to go to closing comment from you, Phil. Before you do that, let me do one thing and let people know, how can they stay connected with you, Phil Walters, as well, if you could?
Thank you quickly. And so you can reach me on Instagram. It's Phil Walters Music. On Facebook, it's Phil Walters. On my website, it's philwaltersmusic.com. And that song that I just performed, it's already out. So you can find that on Spotify, on Amazon, and Apple Music and all those digital platforms. It was a 2016 release, so it's not on YouTube. They were transitioning through some changes at the time. So it's out there for you guys to listen to, and I pray that it is a blessing to you. And I just want to say this quickly, always, thank you for having me on your show. And please keep this in prayer. We're trying to work on getting Sam's story to the big screen. So the big screen, I think the producers and the writers have just got off strike. So I think the actors are next.
Right.
Please keep it in prayer. I really believe that it's a great story to be told. He touched a lot of people, created a lot of music, had two careers, one with the Soul Stirrers and one as a secular or pop music singer. and writer, businessman, entrepreneur, label owner, publishing owner, so there's a lot going on there, civil rights. So please keep that in prayer. I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, and it will happen. Yes, that's that faith component. All right, everybody, make sure you know that we do accept donations and contributions from community members like yourselves. That's the way that we're able to keep the Kim Jacobs Show thriving Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So your contributions truly do make a difference in being able to keep this programming, this quality programming that you see, thriving in order to be able to serve the community and bring balance to the world, one household at a time. We truly appreciate your support. So you can send Cash App at $ Kim Jacobs Inc. for the audio, because it's also an audio podcast. Any listening devices that you pretty much have, whether it's iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, it's all there. So the Kim Jacobs Show is all over the place. And it also streams through 100 countries and 350 million households. So make sure you continue to support this broadcast. All right, share your disclaimer if you would, Daron. Oh, wait a minute. Let me unmute you. Say it one more time. Go ahead.
All right, so my quick disclaimer. The gift and the curse, I deal with duality. There's a gift and the curse to listening to me. So the gift is you definitely get the jewels, you get the nuggets, you get the gems. The curse is you get charged with knowing now. So now you can't say that you didn't hear it. And spiritually, now you're obligated to act on that. But however, it's a good thing, because the more you know, the more you can do. But then on the flip side of that, on the other side of that same coin, the more you know, the more you owe. So now you know.
The more you know, the more you owe. So now you know. Okay, that's some good stuff. You're gifted with words, and I love that. So congratulations on the knowledge that you're gonna be dropping. I heard somebody over here, Ernetta Caldwell, our Freestyle Friday expert, said she said it will be all right when you were singing. It will be all right. Virginia Rutherford Hall says it will be all right. She actually graduated, Virginia, from a program that I teach. She's getting ready to come out with a new show called Wings of Wisdom. She was in the flight industry for over 20 years. This woman is getting ready to drop some serious knowledge on a show that's getting ready to pop off in the next few weeks here. You do not want to miss Wings of Wisdom. Wings of Wisdom. Woohoo! Your life's going to take flight, y'all. If you have not connected with Virginia Rutherford Hall, make sure you do that. And I see you, Carlene, and you said that it will be all right. I see all of your comments. Phil and all of them will go back and check them some more. And I do want to let you know, if you are interested in being trained to start your own show from scratch, a virtual show, an audio show, all of these type of platforms, we're starting our training class on October 25th. And we are starting with 5 new students. Right now we have 2 seats left, okay? So for the class that's starting October 25th, if you're interested in one of those seats, make sure that you reach out to me right away. And it's kim@thebalancedoctor.tv, or you can message me or inbox me at the Kim Jacobs Show, and I'll respond back to you, okay? October 25th, we kick off our new class, teaching you how to start your own show from teaching you how to start your own show from scratch. You own your own content. I'm just coaching you from the experience of learning from PBS, the Word Network, filming at the old Jim and Tammy Faye Baker studio, being on NBC. I'm pouring this stuff into you. And Les Brown endorses it over on our KimJacobsConsulting.com page. You can see a video there. All right, look forward to working with you. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday, 11 o'clock a.m.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family